Well, thank you so much, Kathleen, for those generous remarks. And I'm actually not here tonight to talk about energy or climate change, although, Ovi, I have to say, what you said about what we're doing for our children resonates with everyone. Congress, some of you may have seen President Macron's address to the joint session of Congress 2 weeks ago. And he said exactly that when he was talking about, and it was interesting to me how many of our colleagues across the aisle, the Republicans in the room, stood up for President Macron when he talked about the importance of saving the planet for our children. But that is why we're all in this. And Leanne, we have a huge issue with water contamination with PFCs in a community in New Hampshire, Portsmouth, and it's the moms who have led the battle to make sure that we address that. So thank you for your leadership in making that happen. I'm really honored to be here tonight with all of you, all of the outstanding leaders who are really making a difference in what we need to do to address climate change in the future. And I'm especially pleased to be here to talk about my longtime friend, Kathy Calvin. I believe strongly that when a critical mass of women is present, whether it's in a community meeting, a corporate boardroom, or the legislature, that the discussion at the table changes. And as we've seen by all of the women who have been introduced here tonight, there's no doubt that these are women who are making a difference. And research confirms that women office holders are more likely than our male counterparts to fight for policies that champion social justice, that protect the environment, that promote nonviolent conflict resolution, and that advocate for families. So, as I said, I am so honored to be here tonight to salute the excellent work of Earth Day Network's Women and the Green Economy campaign. WAGE is working around the world to engage top women business, government, and NGO leaders in accelerating the transition to a green economy. We need more women's voices speaking out for both local and global action on climate. So thank you to WAGE for the important work that you are doing. Now, that's worth applauding, I agree. So I'm especially pleased to be here to be able to recognize the 2018 WAGE Leadership Award winner, to recognize a woman whose work illustrates the big positive changes that can happen when women take the lead. I have known Kathy Calvin for more than 4 decades. We were both very young. We were only 12. But we met in 1983 when we were both working on Senator Gary Hart's insurgent campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination. So, yeah, and just for the record, Kathy was the press secretary and I was the New Hampshire director, and I just want you to know that we won New Hampshire that year. I stayed in New Hampshire. Kathy, on the other hand, went on to influential roles at U.S. News and World Report, at Hill & Knowlton, at America Online, and the AOL Time Warner Foundation. And she did all of this before her current role, which we are saluting her for tonight, her extraordinary leadership over the last 15 years at the United Nations Foundation. Throughout Kathy's distinguished career, she has been a passionate advocate for the rights and well-being of women and girls. And under her leadership, the UN Foundation has focused on reducing child mortality, on empowering women and girls, and on creating a clean energy future. She has spearheaded pioneering initiatives. You heard Ted mention some of those: the Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves and the Energy Access Practitioner Network. Campaigns that tackle climate change by engaging women and girls in sustainable solutions in ways in which they can really see the difference that their efforts make. Now, if you talk to Kathy about the honor that she's receiving tonight, she insists that it's really her amazing team at the UN Foundation who should be recognized and sharing in this award. Of course, that's just like Kathy, for all of you who know her, to give credit to others. But under Kathy's leadership, her team is working to provide women in the developing world access to education, family planning services, and freedom from violence. The UN Foundation has a simple premise: when women succeed, their families succeed, their communities succeed, and their countries succeed. And one thing that I noticed way back in the Gary Hart days, and it's true today, Kathy's leadership and energy really are what the military calls, I'm on the Armed Services Committee, so I have to throw that in, but it's what the military calls force multipliers. She really does help the UN Foundation to do things that are extraordinary, to punch above their weight. And of course, I know about Kathy's remarkable ability to bring people together, to forge consensus among groups with diverse and sometimes conflicting interests. As the leader of an NGO, Kathy relies not so much on the persuasion of power as on the power of persuasion. She is persistent, tenacious, and in a good way only, she is never satisfied. She doesn't take yes for an answer. Her persistence at the UN Foundation has meant progress for women and girls across the globe, and it means their greater engagement in the fight against climate change. So, for her leadership and achievements in so many areas, I am so honored to be here to recognize Kathy Calvin with the 2018 Wage Leadership Award. Kathy, congratulations.